What's up? What's up? What is up? It's another Friday, another opportunity to record Ball Hawk Sports Talk. Y'all gotta excuse me. This thing is popping up on me, telling me I messed up something. There we go. It's another opportunity to record the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. I'm your boy B. Brian ESQ, aka I ain't gonna go through all my AKAs because we gonna hop right in today. Today's episode is Just Say Wow. Today, November 11th, 11/11, a day that this country as a holiday refers to as Veterans Day, as we send out our reminders to everybody because we're actually up early on this 8:30 a.m. We're up early. A day that we call Veterans Day. And it looks like, hold on, make sure this is on there. There we go. All right. Perfect. Now we got all of them. We're officially on all of the platforms. A day that this country refers to as Veterans Day. So today is Veterans Day. And the reason I make sure that we pause on Veterans Day is because of the sacrifice that people have made. So many people have made sacrifices. And on this particular holiday, we celebrate that. This is the anniversary of the end of World War I. For those of you who need a little bit of a history lesson, I'll do the history lesson quick before we hop into the topics of sports, business, entertainment. But our public holiday, so a lot of kids are off school today, is on the anniversary of World War I. And it's to honor U.S. veterans and the victims of all wars. So we're honoring U.S. veterans. Veterans are the people that you know that have served. Make sure you call them today. I'll be calling my dad. I'm sure all of us have family members that have served. Make sure you call them. But it's also to honor the victims of all wars. So today, as I'm knocking my earpiece out, so today we celebrate that. But also today happens to be on this particular Veterans Day. On this particular Veterans Day, it also happens to be the same day that Offset, young man at the ripe age of 28. We didn't talk about it much last week. Wanted to talk about it today in the context of celebrating, but also cherishing life. Right young age of 28 years old. And I said Offset, sorry. I mean Takeoff. And that, my apologies. I've done that while I do that a lot when I talk about Migos. But in this case, I definitely want to clarify. It's Takeoff, not Offset, but still tragic. 28 years old. The loss of life. The loss of opportunity to build and continue his career. Lost opportunity to build and continue with his family. And I think that we wanted to make sure we took a moment of silence on this day when they're doing this funeral. Obviously premature, obviously senseless, obviously the violence and you scratch your head. But all of that aside, a 28-year-old man lost his life. So Takeoff, apologies for the mistake earlier, but Takeoff, let's do a very brief but meaningful moment of silence on behalf of Takeoff on this day when he will be buried and eulogized on today. It's sad to see, man. So today's episode, Just Say Wow. I know that all of us had a moment where we just said wow. When you hear of Takeoff in the prime of his career succumb to violence, gun violence, in the situation that he's in, a dice game. You just say, wow. I know I just say, wow, when I think of the sacrifice that so many veterans have made. So with that as our backdrop and the understanding of the title, we're going to hop into some sports, business, entertainment. We're going to do it the way that we do. It's going to be the Ball Hawk Sports Talk. The whole crew is in the building. Fasten up your seatbelt. Strap on your safety devices, whatever you need to do. Because the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, the experience that is coming to you right now. So let's go.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, and stay woke.
because this is the Ball Hog Sports Talk with your boy, B. Brown, ESQ, a.k.a. the Ball Hog, a.k.a. the Mouth of the South. This is the place where sports, business, and entertainment collide. And we're going to give it to you rough, rugged, and raw, so come get you a spoonful, like some grits with butter and salt. You know how we do it in the South, y'all. Make sure you do not get caught in your feelings. Strap on your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. Come on, let's go. In the building, we got from the Central Time Zone. The whole crew is here today, man. Looking quite handsome, I might say. We start off with the Central Time Zone. None other than the man, the myth, the legend. He who takes the Windy City and devours it on a daily basis.
That sounds like a fat joke. Hold on, that sounds like
a fat joke. I meant it from a business standpoint. Okay, come on, man. It's too early for that. Our guy, the Big Flow Show. What's up, my brother?
Man, what's good, man? I'm happy as hell to have this Friday come. Wake up this morning, mess with my two brethren, take on the day, get ready for the weekend. Hasn't been below zero yet. Most of the leaves raked up, man. I feel good. I feel fantastic.
Hey, it was 70 degrees last week in New Jersey. Has it been that warm in Chicago too?
But they're cutting the heat off tonight. They said they're gonna cut the heat off tonight at 6.
It's gonna start getting cold finally.
It'll be 30.
Yeah, man. I just get nervous. I'm like, global warming, like it's not supposed to be 70 degrees in November. I know
hurricanes hitting Florida. I hope nobody's people got messed up, man. I gotta call my mom and them.
Yeah, I need to figure it out too. We get so numb and desensitized to hurricanes as Floridians. Like, oh man, just another hurricane. But each one of those storms is dangerous. So you're right. We also are on the Eastern Time Zone. We went to the Central Time Zone. We know Mr. Windy City. Now we on the Eastern Time Zone. The gentleman who tends to like Boston things, he is now in Jersey City, and he is our ETP, Els the producer. What's up, my brother?
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's hop right in, fellas. Just say wow. Things that make you say wow. You remember Arsenio used to have that things that make you say, Today is things that make you say wow. And I know that when we heard Takeoff, not Offset, Takeoff passed at the ripe young age of 28, it had to make you say wow. But then you hear how he died in a dice game, it made you say wow. So we started the show off by making sure we paid respects by giving a moment of silence. But that's the level of wow that some of these topics this week have given us. And the wows continue in sports business entertainment because last week in college football, I spent the whole Saturday saying, wow. And we'll go in reverse order because Saturday night ended well with me, as my post said. I got to, on a Saturday night that got one extra hour of sleep, I got to sleep with a smile on my face. Notre Dame did the unthinkable. Now, you and I, Big Flow Show, we were missing ETP last week. He was too busy traveling the world. But you and I said in that show that Notre Dame had a chance, and everybody laughed at us. I was getting text messages saying, don't be a homer. You're going to lose your credibility, right? People was at me on social media, and then Notre Dame went and did what we said that they could do, but in a way that even I must admit made me say, wow. Dominant fashion, completely dominated the Clemson Tigers. Yes, it was at home. Yes, Notre Dame students and fans rushed the field. Yes, Marcus Freeman got his first big win at home. And the entire vibe made me say, wow. And I guess it's here that I ask, have we seen the end of Dabo Swinney and Clemson? Because I know they have athletes. They continue to be a monster when it comes to recruiting. But on Saturday night, I don't know if it was Notre Dame looked absolutely good, and I hope that's the case, being a Notre Dame man. But I have to admit, the other side of that coin is Clemson looked terrible, to borrow.
Is this the first year post?
They look terrible.
Is this the first year post Venables or whatever? Did he just leave?
I think they've been 2 years without Venables.
You think that might be it?
You think Venables was the secret sauce? He was the Tom Brady to Bill Belichick? Is that what you're saying? This was.
I don't know. I mean, they're not. Let's go say they're not trash. They're just now like everybody else that's in the
They
upper
recyclables?
echelon.
What you mean? They're not trash, but they don't.
Not
They
complete
recyclables.
trash, but like I don't know, man. Last year they lost a couple, maybe. It's funny because Bama lost 2 times, and people still like, man, they might win the whole thing, right? It's like they still give them credit. Clemson came in there, and ever since Sunshine left, they really just haven't been nothing. But they still aren't terrible when you look at things. They're not the worst, but they're just so. Even when they were ranked 4th, people were like, the spread was 3.5 points, and Notre Dame was unranked. Somebody don't believe them. Somebody doesn't believe them.
You need more people.
Somebody's like,
$5 to the person who could pronounce Clemson quarterback last name. Go. You gotta do it quick. Don't look it up. Don't do the sound. Can you pronounce it?
Oh, ukulele. Oh yeah,
ukulele. No, that ain't
ukulele. That's easy.
Ukulele is not how you pronounce that man's last name.
That is how you say it.
It
You
is
ain't never heard
ukulele.
him say that's not how you do it.
ETP. I know that these Notre Dame guys were busy, striking up the band and playing our music and dancing on Saturday night. As I think you would be objective. I hope we have some influence on you. But the most objective of the three of us watching that game, do you think it showed a great Notre Dame or just a horrible Clemson as the objective one amongst us?
I mean, one, I'll agree that his name is ukulele because I don't know how to say it myself.
The second letter's not K.
I think both can be. I think both can be true, right? Like Clemson, Clemson was. They have always been a reputable organization, right? Like, and Dabo Swinney's had success, and they have a quality team, but Notre Dame had to step up. It's just interesting. I'm more. The whole thing is the fact that now Notre Dame's ranked 20th after the losses that they've had in the early parts of the season. It's just like
that's old shit.
That's
man, how
bias.
you gonna go in that direction? This is why you never give somebody the mic like why.
You want to know what I have to say?
That's what I have to say.
Why you
like, listen, if that's the case, if we're acting like there's no bias in the rankings, then this means that Notre Dame stepped up and beat a number 4 team who deserved to be number 4, and now they're ranked number 20, even though they lost to Marshall. But that's old news. So I'm gonna say Notre Dame showed up, put the work in, and deserved that win, and Clemson was a reputable team. Otherwise,
that was so Melvin.
Yeah, I felt such a backhanded compliment, man.
I'm just saying. Otherwise, the ranking system might be a little contaminated.
I think what you have to say is we have a brand new coach. We got a brand new quarterback, a brand new coach. We came in there and we're starting to get it together. We got a DB that showed up and act like he should be up for the Thorpe. He went nuts. Freshman, he's growing up. You're not the same team week 10, what were we, week 9, 8, 9, whatever we were, as you are week 1. Marshall showed up and they had, Notre Dame has a bad habit of bringing teams into Notre Dame Stadium to beat us that like has no business. There's so many people that came and snuck a dub out of there in South Bend, but we that's excuses. At the end of the day, we lost to Marshall, but we're just not the same team anymore. That can be possible too, right?
That's absolutely possible. I'm just talking about the rankings.
Yeah, the rankings, I was surprised that Notre Dame not just broke it in and also got votes, but broke into the top 25 or was in the also got votes. But they had 20. So I was shocked by that.
We got a path.
I do see that my man John Knight, appreciate you guys. Like always, we ask you humbly, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, please tag anybody that you know, and please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. Please. Doesn't cost you anything, but it goes a long way for us. So I say this because John Knight, one of our live audience members, said, and I quote, Notre Dame needs to address the offense coordinator position for the fact that Freeman or Tommy Rees wasn't Freeman's guy, and we only had 85 yards passing. Normally, I would agree, and we've gotten used to Notre Dame under Brian Kelly and now under Tommy Rees as the newest of the series of offense coordinators that was hired by Brian Kelly to see the ball going through the air. But on this particular Saturday, I was happy that we weren't throwing the ball. On this particular Saturday, with this particular roster, with this particular backup quarterback that has been inserted by way of injury as a starter, right? I was happy to see that the ball was not in the air. You got to run the ball sometimes. And with this roster, with this group of wide receivers, I won't say no names. We could have had another wide receiver from a certain school with the last name, from a certain high school, the last name Florima, but he decided to go elsewhere. But I ain't going to make that personal. He decided to go elsewhere. So what are we left with? We're left with a bunch of young receivers that aren't making plays. I am happy that Notre Dame is running the ball. I think every once in a while, based on personnel, and I say personnel because we got Notre Dame being the we here, got 3 very serviceable running backs. Personnel because we being Notre Dame, have an amazing offensive line that controlled the line of scrimmage and controlled the trenches on Saturday night. Sometimes you got to take a page from a book that might look like a 1983 book, and it can have positive results in 2022. And I think that's what Tommy Rees and the Notre Dame offense did on Saturday. I'm happy that they didn't throw the ball for the sake of throwing the ball. Drew Pine is, again, a serviceable quarterback, but I don't know that he is the one that you want to take chances with by throwing the ball when you're so dominant running the ball. I think that's how we lost to Stanford. Run the ball.
Just win, baby. We got a Haitian at running back. We already straight there.
From this area, went to high school in New Jersey, Estime. Yeah.
Estime. I mean, he's a power back. You can control the line of scrimmage. They invented the pass. The team who invented the pass is a team that couldn't run. And I'm saying that with the son as a receiver. If you can run the ball, run the damn thing. So much less risk.
I'm glad we agree. We ain't talk about that, but I'm glad we agree on that. Run the damn ball.
Run the ball.
As a wide receiver, I can't believe I'm saying it either. There are other games. I see my man Cheeky Black, John Shelton Jordan on here. I almost said, man, I almost went too far, Shelton. My bad. I'm about to give up all the man information. Next, I'm going to give up a Social Security.
Social Security number.
My man Chufu Jordan is on here. And you know he's Mr. LSU. Since we talk about Tigers, let's stick with Tigers. We talk about the Clemson Tigers, but there's another form of a Tiger that performed much better on Saturday, and that was the LSU Tiger under Brian Kelly, beat Nick Saban, something he was unable to do while being the head coach of Notre Dame, while having the all-time winningest record as a coach at Notre Dame. Something he was never able to do was beat Bama, beat Nick Saban. He did that. So if I am taking a very short, say again,
on the same night, like
same
hold
night.
my beer.
Hold my beer. But I will say this. Marcus Freeman, in how many games are we in? 8 games, 9 games? In 9 games, has the same number, same total of overall wins versus top 5 teams at Notre Dame that Brian Kelly had. And that's why I said it was one of those separations that was good for everybody. We saw what Marcus Freeman can do with a backup quarterback. And I think how do I say this without talking really bad about somebody's kid? With a less than stellar wide receiver room, that wasn't that bad, right?
Wide receiver room with holes in it.
With holes in it. They got flaws. They got kinks in the armor. On Veterans Day, let's make it military. They got kinks in the armor. With that group, Marcus Freeman at home, and seeing the stadium rush the field, we got to see what the Marcus Freeman era can be. On that same night, Brian Kelly did what he was never able to do at Notre Dame with the, I would say, better athletes that LSU has, was able to beat.
Allegedly.
Was able to beat Alabama. So everybody got what they wanted out of this situation. Everyone's in a better relationship now, so we can move on. The other game that I thought was pretty amazing was the Tennessee and Georgia game.
Did not
because no one expected Georgia to be that dominant. 2 teams in the top 5 got dominated. Clemson, we just talked about. But in addition, Tennessee got their ass dominated. Georgia beat them like they stole something The SEC is alive and well. If you hate the SEC like I do, just get ready to be mad, puck up your lips, suck your teeth, do whatever you want to do. But the SEC, man, they might have a 2-loss team that still makes it to the college playoffs. That's just how talented and deep the SEC is. Didn't expect Georgia to dominate Tennessee like that. College football's back, man.
Georgia's been dominating everybody. So,
but like Georgia, they had a real
their
close
defense is
Mizzou.
unstoppable, man.
They've had a couple hiccups too. Mizzou almost beat them. Mizzou's under 500.
Yeah,
and they had a good game. It's the parity in football with the transfer portal and NIL. It's a beautiful thing. I mean, when you from a football standpoint watched it, it's just you're gonna see. I watched the game. I watched Cal play. I think it was Cal USC. It was a 1-score game late in the game. It's just a lot of stuff you watch on TV now. You're seeing really good matchups, and I think everybody's got talent out there to do it. Yeah, there's blowouts. People get pistol whipped, but at the same time, there's a lot of really close games between teams that have records that are different. I mean, hell, my lowly little Northwestern Wildcats was tied 7-7 at halftime with Ohio State, and it wasn't flukes. It was knocking down passes, stopping them on the run, stuffing the run, and doing whatever. People have talent up there to step up and do it, and I think this is one of the greatest seasons of college football I've seen.
I agree, man. One of the most competitive.
But Miami
ones.
still can't do nothing.
We'll go like this. Why don't we do this? Why don't we end this? Because on this episode of the Ball Hawk Sports Talk, the Just Say Wow episode, I posted on was it Sunday, Monday? It don't matter. I said, dear, I wrote 2 love letters. One to the University of Miami fans. Dear University of Miami fans, I said something, I'm paraphrasing. You are my family and you are my friends. That's the only reason I haven't called you yet. Don't send me the voicemail. Some of my boys sent me the voicemail. My cousin and them sent me the voicemail because I want to talk about just how bad Miami looks. I then wrote another letter, and you triggered the thought and the memory of it because you talked about how it was a good game between Northwestern and Ohio State all the way into the late in the half, really, late in the game, really. It was a good game. There's another game in the Big Ten that was a good game all the way up to about the third quarter. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure Rutgers had the lead at halftime over Michigan. And my second love letter was to Rutgers. It said, dear Rutgers, stop letting them people come to New Jersey and stealing all your talent right from under you before, during, and after the game, recruiting all your kids. I just want to talk to the state of affairs of those 2 programs because I have personal connection to both of them. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, grew up a Miami Hurricane fan through and through. Orange and green, my whole room was painted. The U, when it was really the U. Every year I hear Miami fans, those who still remain as Miami fans, I have now moved on to greener pastures. I am a Notre Dame man now. But those who remain Miami fans, year in and year out, I hear them say the U is back. And year in and year out, I say you out your mind and crack kills, they not back yet. And if you create a standard where we're back just means getting a few top recruits that got a 4 or a 5-star next to them, versus what you see on the field. And I've said this time and time again, University of Miami, as a fan base, back also has to mean that the electricity and excitement around that team is back and you start coming to watch the damn games. The fans have just as much blame, just as much blood on their hands when it comes to Miami as anybody else. Sure, you can blame a coach. You can blame a coordinator. You can blame a recruiting coordinator. But the truth of the matter is the fans are just as much to blame in Miami because the environment sucks. So much so that Florida State, your in-state rival, I mean, Florida State, Miami is that's the creme of the creme. That is Miami. That is Michigan, Ohio State. That is Notre Dame, USC. That is Texas, Oklahoma. When it comes to rivalries, Florida State, Miami is a big rivalry. And you let them come in and run up and down the field on you, man. 52-3 was the final score there.
And let's not act like Florida State's killing this year. Let's not act like Florida State is
an average Florida State team.
Beat your face.
So where are we at? The state of affairs with Miami. And then I'm coming to you, Rutgers. Stay patient. And I see my man Walt D said, free Kyrie. We will be talking to Kyrie next, so stay tuned. But before we get to Kyrie, the thing that is making me say wow in this moment is just how bad Miami looks. That was at home.
I think there's a couple factors in there. First of all, I feel like Miami is not really a school-affiliated team, from what I understand. The stadium isn't close to the campus. The campus is not
affiliated. They independent.
They're independent. They're just like a city team. And so you got all the people that are in Miami that like watch them. So the fair weatherness, I think, can go. But I think they got to reinvent themselves because in like 2007-ish, was it Randy Shannon? Was that his name, the coach?
Randy Shannon was a coach. Yep. I don't remember what year. I'm proud to say I don't remember what year.
I'm going to say about 2007. And he cleaned the program up. Like the graduation rates are high now. They're getting like in the 80s and 90s. They're doing all kind of stuff. And I think that when you did that and you took away the reckless, the you type persona, you can't have it both ways, man. So it's not.
Hey, go ahead and say what you're going to say. I know it's tough to say it because we want to make sure that we're careful with what we say. But the truth of the matter is, they need a few rough around the edge.
They need a couple people
like every other program does, and they used to be all rough around the edges players. That didn't mean that they weren't good students. So let me be clear.
But
and
like
we're not going as far down
to
a rabbit hole to say no crazy, to refer to them as any crazy terms. But they were rough around the edges. They were tough kids that loved football, that didn't care that perception might be negative, that they wore a big Dookie gold chain to the game and wore fatigues and they didn't care. And now it seems as though they got something different. They got something different.
They tried to do it with the turnover chain. They tried to bring it back. It stuck. They got rid of it this year. Like, why would you get rid of it? Why would you get rid of like a hype?
Meanwhile, every other college program basically is copying you. They're letting you know just how cool it is. Every youth football program in the country is copying you. So why would you get rid of the thing that has been the thing? It's gimmicky, yes, but you started it.
You tucked your chain in. Debo came in, you tucked your chain in.
I'll just tuck mines in.
I don't know. That they're trying to be the U, and I don't think it's possible. I think they've changed too much down there, and the U is dead. I mean, they even brought back Reed. I know he wants to quit. I know he's ready to quit. There's no way.
I don't want to be associated with this. I don't think they should be the U,
like no quitter, but I guarantee his desk is boxed up. Right. I guarantee 2 weeks from today, he's done.
Instead of the U, they should be the V, because that's just a different version of the U. That ain't the U no more. And then the other program that just makes me say, wow, is Rutgers. Because when they went to the Big Ten, I said it was a mistake. When they rehired Schiano, when they went and tried to get back with the ex-girlfriend that left them high and dry, I said that's a mistake. And from Rutgers football alum to Rutgers non-football alum to Rutgers enthusiasts, people that are around me, Rutgers supporters who really want the program to be bolstered because they live here in New Jersey, from all of those people, I would say, basically, I've been pulling for you, man. But I told you, and I hate to say I told you so, but I got to say I told you so. Something ain't right. Something ain't right with the program. Now, you're in the Big Ten. Your son's playing for Northwestern. What else? How would you assess the whole Rutgers situation? Where we stand?
Let's ask you, other than the years that Schiano had Rutgers playing well, do they have a football tradition?
It's where college football started. Yes, they have a football tradition. I'll give them that. I mean,
Canada is where hoops started. But I mean, like, let's you know what I'm saying? Like, what are we doing?
Really? That's what you gonna do.
That's what we do.
How do I?
The first Heisman Trophy winners from University of Chicago. Are we gonna go there? I mean, is that what we're doing? I just want to know what we're doing. Does Rutgers have a football tradition? Name the last championship. Rutgers.
I don't know the tradition, but I'm gonna go out on a limb.
So my thing is like,
I gave you what I knew.
Rutgers is doing what Rutgers does. Get you a couple decent games here and there. I got a real young brother over there from Chicago, from Springfield, Illinois. Rashad Rochelle, he's having a good freshman year over there doing his thing. Shout out to him. I think that Rutgers is got an uphill battle. It's not New Jersey's not really a hotbed if you think about it. They got some good football in some of those prep schools, but like New York or whatever. It's not really hotbed. What do you want from Rutgers? You can't.
Man,
We're in the
first
same
of all,
conversation as Miami. We can't have the same conversation.
You do realize I live in New Jersey, right? I coach in New Jersey. So the level of disrespect that you just threw at me and say New Jersey is not a hotbed of football. No, New Jersey got the football. It's just that this.
Is it a hotbed though? Is it Miami?
I would put it
South
behind.
Florida. It's from South Florida. Honest, do you want to get your kids back to South Florida so they get to the football?
Does that cross your mind? That would be in consideration. But I'll say this. Because I went to the illustrious St. Thomas Aquinas, the greater Fort Lauderdale
From where?
area.
From where?
Fort Lauderdale,
from New Jersey, right?
But I would say
Thomas
this.
Aquinas of New Jersey. That's where you went?
There is one. Good luck to them tonight. I know those.
Good luck to them tonight, right? They still playing?
I don't speak about it as fondly. But I will say this. Is New Jersey is all right. So you got the clear-cut leaders in high school football: Florida, Texas, California, right? Then I would say right behind that.
Don't do it.
You've got.
Hey, we're live.
I know we're live.
I'm just saying. You see the little red thing and the thing,
right?
30.
I'm just. This is my.
Words matter. You know what I'm saying?
Matter.
People get canceled for way less than what I think you might be about to say. So I'm just telling you, I care about you. You're my brother.
I'm not gonna put New Jersey right under them.
Okay.
New Jersey's not right under them.
Your lips look like they was fixing funny. You know what I mean? How sometimes people lips be fixing funny.
There's a second group of Louisiana, Georgia, and the Carolinas. And I'm going to go ahead and put right there in that group. No, watch. Ohio and Pennsylvania right there on the edge of that group.
When does Chicago get in there?
I think, Chicago's behind New Jersey. Y'all ain't behind. Y'all ain't better than us. Illinois, y'all in the seat behind us, Jack.
Adidas, line 6, canceled. Nike, line 5, canceled. Yo Play Yogurt, line 2, canceled. Are you kidding me?
Illinois is not in the seat closest to the front seat. They're not closer to New Jersey. They're behind us.
Dude, we call you and tell you how traffic was. Hey, man. Hey, you won't have to avoid 80, 90, man. It's by the time y'all get there, man, it'll clear up. Don't worry. My bad. Are you kidding me? New Jersey?
I would say that second group, and Shelton Jordan says Louisiana. I put Louisiana in that second group. Louisiana, Georgia, and the Carolinas are in that second group. And then I think Ohio and Pennsylvania are right there. Back up, and I put New Jersey in. Illinois is in the seat right behind us. Y'all in the seat right behind us.
Stop saying that, man. You don't believe it, and people are going to start thinking you do. If you say it a third time, people they're going to write it down.
Who else believes that? Y'all let me know. Rank your states. What do you think from a high school football standpoint? Like, what do you think?
Illinois ranks way higher than New Jersey. Are you kidding me? New Jersey. Y'all got 2 schools out there, 2 high schools in the whole state.
I would love to do that. What's up, my man Franklin in the building? Bring my U team down to Fort Lauderdale and play Western. You don't know how bad, man. You might be on to something, brother.
Man, go. You lucky. Hey, Raymond, you lucky. I can't control this, man. I had you up there clicking. There we go.
Illinois is ahead of New Jersey by far. I know. Listen. I'm not saying that Illinois doesn't have ballers. Illinois got some ballers. Donovan McNabb is the one that comes right to mind, but they've got a long list of ballers.
Many more than that. Stop talking.
Many more. I like Donovan McNabb. To me, he was like, he was just a great quarterback, great leader. So I think he represents Illinois very well. Ballers. But the problem is when we talking numbers, y'all got one less baller than New Jersey. We better than y'all. Man.
One less? Y'all got 2 high schools in New Jersey. 2 in the whole state.
They always in the top. They always the top. Look,
got so many.
Y'all keep them coming. Let us know.
East St. Louis alone is better. Just East St. Louis. We got 2 high schools here. East St. Louis and Bolingbrook. Shout out to Deion Mitchell. His son came from Bolingbrook. Look for his son to come to an NFL stadium near you in the next few months. But we got 2 high schools that take your whole state out. Bolingbrook High School and East St. Louis. Just those 2. East St. Louis alone it's a whole.
Listen. East St. Louis is technically in Illinois, but that's like That's
Well,
like
y'all technically in Connecticut then. I mean,
that's a
what are we
rounding
doing?
error. East St. Louis really is not like y'all. That's not Chicago. Let's stick Chicago area.
I'll take East St. Louis then. I'll take. Look here, now. New Jersey. Ain't nobody come up here and be like, man, I'm from New Jersey. When they come out to the football locker room, they say I'm from out east. They probably be claiming New York. Y'all be claiming shit that don't even count anyway.
I'm from the Eastern Coast.
From the Eastern time. We fold our pizza where I'm from. That's what we talk about.
I was disrespectful. I didn't say Michigan. Michigan's up there too. To me, Michigan's in that Ohio, Pennsylvania, right on the outer edge of the second group. So and look, Illinois is good. It's just not as good as New Jersey, baby. So where do we go? Where do we go if we're talking to New Jersey? Rutgers calls us up. They say, all right, it rings. And they say, Ball Hog Sports Talk. What do we do to finally get Rutgers to the point they can take advantage of all this talent, homegrown talent in New Jersey? What do we do when we can finally take advantage of the fact that we've been in the Big Ten? What do we do to build a program that can be competitive in the Big Ten? What do we do? Line one.
Gotta tell them to start recruiting Chicago more often. First off, is what we do.
But they did that. They did that. Their game plan in Schiano version 1, we're in 2.0 now. 1.0, they went and they recruited Fort Lauderdale, Miami, South Florida. They went and did that. They did that. They had on I-95, Rutgers football. Happy holidays from Rutgers football. To a lot of the kids I grew up playing with, as my man Franklin mentioned, Western Tigers, that was the first time we ever saw the word Rutgers. Rutgers, what is that, right? They did that. But it isn't sustainable. So you can't necessarily keep figuring out where else to go. I think you got to keep homegrown talent home. What else do we tell them?
I think the hard part, really, honestly, I don't know, maybe if they should join the ACC or something. I just feel like
within the Big Ten right now, everybody is conference hopping. I don't think Rutgers is going to have too many invitations. If they're
not going anywhere, nobody's going to give up that check.
They good,
but I think as far as trying to, since it's not a place that has like
all these Illinois dudes coming at me on here, man. Y'all, boy, I wish I could fly.
We got good listeners, man.
Has Illinois high school football playoff started? I'll fly out there and watch some games because I ain't no way y'all got better football than New Jersey.
We're around 3 right now.
Round 3?
Round 3 coming up tomorrow, today and tomorrow. But anyway, since you're trying to change the subject, the bottom line is I think, Penn State is Penn State, right? Even though I do think when Penn State joined the Big Ten, it dropped their mystique down a little bit from the independent.
Penn State filled with New Jersey kids, but go ahead.
And so they mediocre now. Back before they joined the 10 and they had to get stuck with the Jersey kids, they were doing really well. Now they're kind of mediocre. I just think it's hard, Maryland. It's hard to identify with the Big Ten in New Jersey thinking about whatever. It's tough. So I think they're in a really tough spot. I don't know where they are academically. I think they're probably middle of the road, upper middle of the road, maybe in the Big Ten. Are they pretty good school?
Maryland?
No, Rutgers.
Oh, as a school?
Academically.
Yes, very good school.
Very good school.
Very good school.
It's just, I don't know. I think it's a tough sell. I mean, I'm not gonna pass up that $100 million. If I'm them, I'll just continue to be mediocre and go to the mailbox and pull my $100 million out every year. But I just think it's just hard to get an identity in who you're gonna go with. When
Rutgers,
you start switching.
Rutgers, call me. Call me.
Rutgers. I think Schiano was a good hire, though. I still do think
Schiano's a terrible hire. You don't go back to the lady who left you.
The lady who the only time you look pretty is when you had that dress on.
You don't go get her. That ain't pimping. It's pimping. It's pimping. It's pimping. That's the opposite of pimping. That's simping. Oh, you thought she was feeling you? Man, you a munch. Rutgers, you a munch. You go get the dude that left you.
Man, they played one half of Michigan. They played with the lead.
Say again?
They led Michigan for a half.
For a half. And then got beat 52 to whatever they had, 17.
The contract didn't go the whole game. You see, you don't read all the fine print, dog.
I signed up to play the first half.
It was a first half contract.
My man Franklin, I appreciate seeing anybody from the home team here, man. And I gave a rest in peace to Takeoff, who I never met. Let me just quickly and briefly, man, because I also posted that my man Major Parker, who played at the University of Florida, played basketball at the University of Florida, was there when they won a national championship, is one of the basketball greats out of South Florida. And I don't know how he passed, but he died at the right young age of, I think he was only 44 years old, man. So Takeoff, while that is a widely known and today being his funeral and they're going to eulogize him is a big story. Seeing people from South Florida here reminded me that I also want to just honor and celebrate the life of Major Parker, who was a great basketball player, man, and even better, a great human being. Bumped into him in South Florida when we had the ball on the beach. I got a chance to tell my sons in front of Major just how good of a player he was and how good of a person he was. So life is precious. Anyway, I hate to be Debbie Downer, but seeing people from the crib on here made me think of it. Back to the topic. Franklin also says, Florida is in a different stratosphere. And I'm going to read this with purpose. 3 of the top 15 teams, high school teams in the country are from BC. Oh, I'm sorry, Broward County. The illustrious St. Thomas Aquinas, Greater Fort Lauderdale, Florida area is the first one that he lists. Chaminade and American Heritage. And I think Central was up there. They must have lost. They're public high school. So we're in a different stratosphere. Then we'll go to Texas, California, then everybody else. I don't know how that helps Rutgers, but we got to put a game plan together. We got to put a game plan together. And it was that's funny. My man Coop says he made the mistake of going to the University of Florida game in the swamp and then to a Rutgers game, and it made Rutgers look like JV. Rutgers had it's sort of a vibe the first time, Shiano 1.0, when they wore the all black, right? They tried to bring it back this year and still got punched in the mouth. When they had all these South Florida recruits playing, when they kept some of the homegrown talent home, I don't know where.
I can't hear you. I don't know if you can hear me. I can't hear you. So he's going to go on something about Shiano. He doesn't like Shiano. He's out there in New Jersey. I think.
How about now?
Fantastic. Wait, go
Fantastic.
again.
I was going off about Shiano because I can't believe they hired the man that left him. You never do that. Hey, if I could advise, if I'm talking to my sons and, a girl that really had their heart, the girl that they gave a little chain to, gave a little jacket, the varsity leather jacket to, that girl leaves you. And then after going and testing out the wards with other gentlemen, she realizes what she had in you, and she comes back to you and says, hey, you know what? We should get back together. I'm telling my sons, hell to the no. Know your worth, King.
Yeah, sometimes you got to say you was wrong and come back. That's all I'm saying. Sometimes you can figure it out, man. I don't know what I was thinking. My bad.
I don't know what I was thinking. Keep them coming, y'all. We're going to make sure we keep posting them. Let's hop into a few more topics, man, because today has a ton of sports business and entertainment. We start off with college football. And TCU is playing Texas this week. And that's going to be the big game of the week. Who you got? TCU over Texas? Does TCU remain undefeated and stay in contention?
Yes,
all right.
Yep.
But the big news is that from that game, ironically, Texas put it out this week that their students have made it known that they don't even want Kanye's music played anymore.
He can't get canceled enough. They canceled it. I think I heard the other day somebody offered him a contract just so they could cancel it.
Yeah. It's crazy,
Come on, man. Kanye's crazy, man. Kanye. I know we don't want to talk Kanye today, but I've been hearing little clips. Like he's trying to see how much further cancel he can get. He don't care. So
it's just amazing to me that now it's gone all the way down to game day operations. They don't even want the man's music played. But it makes me also think, because you're talking about cancel, and we will agree that Kanye is crazy. We will agree that since that moment, since his infamous rant, he's doubled, tripled, quadrupled, and any other number to the infinity power, how many times he's doubled down on the ignorance, right? So we understand why Adidas would walk away. Although they're going to still sell them, they're just not going to have Yeezy on. They're going to be Air Freezies. They're going to be Air Freezies. And we learned a little bit about IP. What did Kanye on?
Stop touching
So we
me.
understand, but Kanye is when you look at it, like Kanye is getting what Kanye deserves because he keeps on just keeping on. But then it makes me think of Kyrie because Kyrie is also being dumped on. The irony of Kyrie needing to meet with Adam Silver, who happens to be Jewish, to determine whether he was indeed anti-Semitic in his behavior is pretty ironic. To meet with a Jewish man to determine whether or not you were anti-Semitic, to then determine whether or not you get a chance to go work for that Jewish man again and continue playing basketball. The irony there is just I mean, you deal what you want to do with that irony. But the truth of the matter is that Adam Silver has now said unequivocally and wholeheartedly, Kyrie is anything but anti-Semitic.
And he based it off of not that conversation. He based it off of knowing him for a long time and being around him for 10 years or however many years he's been in the NBA and has no reason to believe it. I mean, it was the endorsement that anybody who gets accused of being racist would want to get, is that I've known you for a long time, and I don't believe you to be this, and I'm of that faith. So
the people that are talking about, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Of the commissioners, Silver's probably the one that I've liked the most. You know, just because I feel like he's kind of supported causes and he's done whatever. He's been a little more open-minded, but I just kind of feel like at some point, if you say that you don't believe that I'm anti-Semitic, and I've apologized. Even though my initial response wasn't what you were looking for, he came back with a sincere apology. I mean, as sincere as you can be. I mean, right? I just think that 5 games he's suspended, but the taking groveling down to take sensitivity training and do all these different things. When you say he doesn't have a problem, he don't think he's anti-Semitic, but now he's got to go through it. I think it's going too much now. I think you're trying to buck, and I don't even like to go here. You know me on the show. I'm the last to go here, but they're trying to buck break this dude, and it's getting out of hand. It's getting
and other media personalities have used that same phrase. Buck breaking was basically a process during the height of slavery when any slave did anything that looked a little out of bounds, try to stand up for themselves or read, or wasn't working as fast and as hard as the slave owner wanted them to work, they would bring this particular slave out in front of everybody and really go to town with beating the slave and beat him into submission. So they would use that slave as an example to the rest of the slaves. Don't you try to get froggy and leap. And a lot of media personalities, mostly black, I did see Jay Williams say something. I saw Shannon Sharp say something. Some of these same people are the ones that threw him under the bus, but now they are coming to his defense in the sense that enough is enough. And the challenge is that we see the ripple effect of Kanye, right? The students don't even want his music played in the stadium. And we understand that Kanye, as he continues to go off a cliff, probably is getting what he deserves. And you compare or contrast that to Kyrie, who has apologized, who has, I think, first of all, the act itself was to link to a movie that remains on a platform that I don't think has gotten that much backlash.
Not zero.
And so you compare that. He's taking the steps. He donated. He said he would do some meet with Jewish leaders, and it's considering sensitivity training. Someone who's doing all of that, and yet still the ripple effect of it seems odd. It seems odd that just like Adidas tried to part ways, has parted ways with Kanye, it seems odd that Phil Knight and Nike insinuated that he'd be willing to walk away from the relationship with Kyrie.
He said probably. He said probably. The door open. He said probably.
You know, so it's just interesting, man. I'll let you last word on it with Kyrie. Where do we go from here with Kyrie? Do you think, if it is buck breaking, do you think that people coming out and speaking against it, that ends it? Or is this just sort of the springboard to more Kyrie ripple effect backlash? Because indeed, there's an appetite for it. There's a market for it. People are jumping on and still want to bash Kyrie despite the apology, despite the endorsement of or the character witness that Adam Silver was when he said that Kyrie is anything but anti-Semitic. Do you think that this continues?
You know, I think people just don't like Kyrie, and I think that that's the problem. It's like now this comes up, and there's a lot of people, and from many different groups that just don't like the way Kyrie acts and don't like the way he's been, and they're just going to jump on this bandwagon and just say, whatever, get rid of him, and not even look into it. So that's his problem. He doesn't have the biggest fan base. You know, he does have a huge fan base in a certain culture of people, but then outside of that, I think a lot of people are like, he's always making some sort of noise. He's doing something. Forget him. Let's just get rid of him. But it's unfortunate. I think that, you know, this is a free country. You know, you got to be able to speak freely. You got to be able to say what you got to say. And I think Kyrie has done that.
Right.
And I think that he went too far in not separating himself from aspects of this movie, which I haven't seen, but not separating himself from the aspects of the movie he didn't believe, because you have to assume if you endorse a movie that is not a fiction, you know, or some sort of a documentary thing, that you're saying this is what I believe. So I think that it was a little irresponsible for him not to put some disclaimers.
Fair.
But everything else Kyrie's done until this point has really been freedom of speech, including this technically. But I think people decide that they don't like that. They don't do it. I will say I have seen some of my right-wing brethren standing up for him about freedom of speech, which I was surprised.
In social media?
I actually saw a little bit. I saw some of the right-wingers that normally are the kings of double standards and only applies to things that work for them, speaking up and saying he should be able to say what he wants.
Good. Look, Kyrie, I hope Kyrie's out of the water. I use Kyrie a lot. You know, I got some training equipment from someone who did a lot of training here, my man D-Train. And I asked him, I was like, yo, man, what kind of athletes have been in this equipment, on these harnesses and in these hurdles? And, you know, because I knew I was going to take them and train my own kids. And he was like, man, a ton of athletes. He named a lot of people, but one of the people he named was Kyrie. And just hearing his name now, instead of getting an image of him working on his ball handling and, you know, being creative and putting that ball on a yo-yo, when I heard his name, I immediately thought of this controversy. And so it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. My man, Steve Cooper, my man Coop, who is a New Jersey legend, who I think Coop just got inducted to Hall of Fame at his college. I think, and I'll mess up the college. He played basketball. I think he's got inducted to the Hall of Fame. If so, congratulations, Coop, who was watching. Also, New Jersey native. He's Mr. New Jersey. He says Rutgers is competitive in every other sport except football. That's when you know you're waving the white flag, man. Rutgers, y'all got to get it together. My man, Crit, stop playing, man. He said my mic shut itself off because it's tired of hearing me talk about Rutgers.
He keeps touching stuff. That's the problem. Quit touching stuff.
Touching. Let's see, man. I'm gonna try to get to all of these, man. When ETP is gone, y'all see, ETP had another engagement, man. So we juggle a lot. But when he's gone, man, it's tough. It is tough to both produce it and to give you content. So let's get into some other stuff, man. Because Kanye got us to Kyrie, and Kyrie gets us to the Nets, who have now hired Jacques Vaughn as their new head coach. He was the interim before Steve Nash. He was the interim after Steve Nash. He is now the head coach. I guess they was like, we ain't hiring no pimps right here. Goldie, you ain't getting this job. We saw that was probably going to be a controversial hire because they don't like the idea that a man had consensual sex with a woman and whatever the case might be. I don't know why he's so controversial, but Ime Udoka is indeed a controversial figure. They did not hire him, and instead they hired Jacques Vaughn. What do you think about the hire? Does this get the Brooklyn Nets to where they want to be?
I'm not against promoting from within. Jacques Vaughn was an interim head coach at the time, right? So he had been on the staff. I don't know. I think the other hire is probably a little more of a no-brainer. Bringing my man in from the Celtics, the one that, but I think, if you work there and you kind of nervous about your girl and stuff, the way he's taking them out the office, that's a little bit of a culture shock right there.
You know the rules. She chose me.
She chose me. So I think that would have been a better hire, but I'm happy to see him get this opportunity. But I don't want to see the Nets succeed. So you're asking me the wrong person. I don't want to see them win.
Even without them succeeding, just seeing the hire, I thought it was the right thing to do after they did the wrong thing by hiring Steve Nash. But
I still don't think Steve Nash is the wrong hire. If you tell me you check with KD, if KD wants to hire, then that's who you hire.
KD is an amazing scorer, one of the best we've ever seen.
He's a star of the team, man. If he wants the guy, man. If he wants Jordans, you wear Jordans. If he wants to wear Yeezys, we wear Yeezys. It's KD.
Well, you can do what the superstar wanted to do and still have made a horrible decision. If you don't believe me, follow LeBron's career. They've done what he wanted to do, and they made horrible roster decisions. The Nets made a horrible coaching decision by doing what KD wanted to do. And so that's all I'm saying. I'm calling it out. It was a bad decision.
So KD made a bad decision. Yes,
KD's job
is league is run by the players. It's run by the players. You're a superstar. You pick your coaches. You pick the uniforms. Everything.
Do you think I think they made the right choice with Jacque Vaughn. I'm glad to see him get a chance. It does make me feel old because I remember Jacque Vaughn playing for Kansas, and I remember Jacque Vaughn in the NBA. Like it didn't seem that long ago. But Jacque Vaughn's hire, after being considered and being the interim once before, after having a long career of coaching, after then getting an interim tag again, and now finally with a process in place and being considered versus other options like Goldie, I ain't gonna call him Pimpin. He was considered against other options. They hired Jacque Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
But now what's making me say wow is that in the same week, the Colts fire Frank Wright and hire Reggie Fariba.
Watch it.
I'm saying it's the same. You're a media personality type.
It's all the names out there. That's what we're doing. So if I did that, you do a show about me. If I got a chance, they gave me a shot.
It would be a bonus show. It'd be just about that topic. Like they didn't hire these boys.
Just for that, you're not gonna be my wide receiver coach.
If you hire me, then I'll delete the show.
No, but yeah, I gotta say wow on that. I can't believe they hired this dude.
That's Saturday. He was on TV. He's on ESPN.
People out there, we should have had that clip stand up last time Jeff Saturday tried to call plays. You see that famous clip of Peyton Manning cussing him out on the sideline, just tell him just block, just pass block, stop calling plays. Do your job. So at the end of the day, that's the wildest hire I've ever seen. To be honest, it's the wildest. I mean, like
wows of all wows.
Wow.
And Jeff Saturday, look, Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, came out and said all the right things. Although he sounded like he was drunk or on crack or on something while he was doing the interview. But hey, the owners have a different code of conduct, personal code of conduct than the players. So go ahead, roll them out there fresh off pills and let him do an interview. And in that interview, he sounded crazy by defending the decision to hire a man who has never coached on any single level to coach an NFL team in the middle of the season. And I'm going to take a different approach. I think that they hire him in order to ensure they have the first pick. It's a different form of taking. This is a brilliant form of taking.
We're just going to ride this out.
We're going to ride this out. We're going to give you the job. And when he calls the owner and says, all right, we need to do a team meeting, the owner says, no, we don't. Just chill, bro. Just enjoy yourself.
Just go out there and do these. When you was a kid, you used to call the play. Just Saturday, he got some other dude. He got the wide receiver quality control intern as the interim OC. They gonna get whooped. They gonna get their ass whooped this week.
Yeah, I think it is what it is, man. And I'm trying to get all of these. Let me get some of these, man.
My man Jay Knight pointed out, man, you talking about LeBron picking all his coaches and stuff. He got 3 chips with 3 different organizations. He ain't doing too bad. Just because he's having a slow start. And I've been thinking about you, about getting on my leg show.
Get it off your chest. Get it off your chest.
Didn't Golden State start off trash last year?
They didn't start off trash, but they were struggling.
Slightly garbage-esque.
Yes, but they turned it on. Yes.
My point is, Lakers in 6. I'm just saying, don't.
They're 2-7 right now, bro.
What they about now? 2-11. What are they?
7.
No, they at least 2-8. They at least 2-8. Last I checked.
2-9. There it is. There it is. We got
Sheldon always had that ready for you. And LeBron said he got to learn how to flop. Sometimes LeBron needs to take a vacation from the microphone. He says stuff. I'll be like, Bron, I've been cutting for you so long, but you just said you have to learn how to flop.
Look, I don't say that the LeBron comment about him influencing the roster. Yes, he's won 3 titles. But there's been a lot of bad decisions with 3 teams. With 3 teams. He won 2 in Miami. So, I mean, as a Miami Heat fan, we'll take the 2. But he's won with 3 teams. I just don't think that decisions like this, and I say like this because we went with the Steve Nash decision. And at times, I was a little questioning the Marcus Freeman decision. Like, I love Marcus Freeman, but you can't lose to Marshall at home. That was a decision that was largely influenced by the players. Certain decisions, while you can listen to the players, you got to remember that players think in very short terms. They want to win this season, right? As a business person, you got to think in longer terms. You got to think in bigger pictures. And Jeff Saturday, I think, was a bad hire on purpose because the Colts want the first pick. That's the only thing that makes it rational. If not, it's wild, it's disrespectful to the Eric Bieniemys of the world who still ain't got no head coaching job. It's disrespectful.
It is.
To hire Jeff Saturday. So I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt.
Some people went so far as say it's disrespectful for Saturday to accept the job. And I actually agree with that kind of. I mean,
you think it's disrespectful from a former player standpoint for Jeff Saturday?
He's supposed to have more respect for the game than that.
I don't know. Hey, you got to feed your family.
It's decent though. It's a decent statement. You
got to feed your family.
He's feeding his family fine. He's feeding his family fine. But you disrespecting the game by even accepting some shit like that.
You think he should have been like, yo, thank you, but no thank you?
Hey, I've been called disrespectful before. So I took the damn job too. Hire me, shit. If y'all need
they might have saved a ton of money. Instead of working out and negotiating, I
win me a game too, though.
He might have an agent for all of the media stuff that he does. But they probably negotiated directly with Jeff Saturday. And it went something like this. Look, man, we're gonna give you some bus passes, we're gonna give you some Costco cards. But we ain't paying you, dog. You ain't been a coach.
Look, Jeff Saturday had a media job. I'm qualified, baby. Hire me as an interim.
That's what I said. They hired you. You qualified.
Hire me. Who they hired to replace Jeff Saturday? Who they put in their role? I'll take it.
That's what, hey, whoever they hired to replace Jeff Saturday, it's going to be somebody with media experience, with media training.
Probably.
Right? So to make your point, it makes the point that even in replacing Jeff Saturday on his segment, there's going to be a media trained person to come do a media job. Jeff Saturday is being hired to coach an NFL roster. In the middle of the season, he still got 8 games left. And he is qualified as my son, who is now 12 years old.
Who are they trying to get? Bryce Young? Who do you think they're taking for?
I don't know who they're taking, but that's the only thing that, if not, and here's where, and I know you've said it several times, you don't like to make everything about race, and I respect that. But if not, if you hire Jeff Saturday, and you think that this man with no football coaching experience, he was an advisor to the Colts. Cool. So am I. I'm an advisor to the Colts. I can go on their fan chat and say something in the chat room. I'm advising. But if you think that this man, if you really hire someone with zero coaching experience over the plethora of brothers that are waiting to get a job, some on the coach staff already, in the midst of us trying to understand how to expand and make the Rooney Rule more meaningful, that is one of those moments that being Black in America and having a legitimate conversation with someone who'll be like, I don't see the problem. It makes you just want to smack somebody. How does that happen? Jeff Saturday? And that's nothing disparaging about Jeff Saturday, but it is calling a situation a situation. That's just not what you do when there's so many other options out there, black, white, and everything in between. Jeff Saturday? Jeff Saturday's TV personality, I like. Jeff Saturday as a teammate, I always liked. Jeff Saturday as a player did his thing. But Jeff Saturday shouldn't be considered for any NFL coaching job, especially in the middle of a crisis when you just fired someone and you need someone to right the ship. And yet he has the job.
Who else is available?
A trillion people are available. And most of them have coaching experience. Hell, I got head coaching experience. I was a head coach of a youth football team.
They say Reggie Way's on the staff. They could have picked him up. They got the same old player name recognition. Definitely closer to the play call than I don't know. It ain't the right. It's not.
It don't compute. The only thing that computes is that Jim Irsay was like, "Look, bro, with this roster, we're not gonna win anyway. At least we could put some seats, some butts in the seats, and get Jeff Saturday, who has always been well liked by our fan base. Maybe I don't know.
They should have hired Kanye.
They should have hired Kanye.
He ain't doing shit right now.
Kyrie's available. Maybe he could be an NFL coach. I will go now to the Washington Commanders. Because what else made me say wow this week is we know the Washington Commanders are for sale. And it seems as though, after we get off of this one, it seems as though, since we're moving on from Jeff Saturday with no coaching experience, it seems as though the Washington Commanders being up for sale has brought together an interesting group, an interesting partnership that includes Jeff Bezos, Matt McConaughey, and Jay-Z. Sounds like the beginning of a good joke. Jeff Bezos, Matt McConaughey, and Jay-Z walk into a bar. But that group seems to be rumored to be interested in purchasing the Washington Commanders. Do we finally get a breakthrough and get someone like a Jay-Z in an ownership group of the NFL?
I don't know. They should be canceling Bezos, right? Because he's got that film on his platform. So how are we gonna let him? How are we gonna let Jeff Bezos into the club? And he's anti-Semitic because he's got this thing on his platform.
Yet they're not.
I hope now that's got all the attention it's ever going to get. Is what I just said. It'd be interesting to see if they got the team and what they could do with it. I mean, it's a very, very interesting. Schneider got to get up out of there, right? Nobody wants to see him, so it'd be interesting to see what Jay-Z does with it. I mean, Jay-Z was with the Nets. He's done with the Nets, right?
He sold that small stake right after they moved into Barclays. It wasn't long after Barclays movement. That was a move to get to Brooklyn. They did it, and Jay-Z has since removed himself from the Brooklyn Nets organization. So this would be the first one. And I love this question my man Crit puts out there to you, and I want publicly for you to answer. If the Lakers
start giving Crit too much,
and he put if, but I'm going to substitute when the Lakers miss the play-in again,
he said,
would you break up with the team? Big Flow Show.
Is LeBron still there?
LeBron's gonna be there until his son start playing.
I'm still with them. I got the Lakers.
You still gonna rock with the Lakers?
I rock with LeBron, man. I mess with LeBron.
We shall see, man. I don't like the fact that the whole idea, you got 99 problems. It'll be bad for you, son. What is it? Whatever. I got 99 problems, but buying a team ain't one. Jay-Z, I hope that you're a part of that group. I hope it works out. And while the Colts are tanking, they're trying to figure out who they want. He said C.J. Stroud. It's interesting to see things that make you say, wow, is that in the same week that one of the young hip-hop greats from the group Migos, 28 years young, succumbs to violence, loses his life. And we talked about at the beginning of the show, top of the show, today is the day that they will commemorate his life, eulogize him in the funeral. And that same week, if you think about the extremes of that, the OG, the LeBron James of rap, shall I say, the current existing OG of rap is Jay-Z, and Think about those extremes. One man loses his life during a dice game, and another man in the same genre, same hip hop, from similar, while different regions of the world, similar beginnings in terms of his upbringing and being from urban situation in Brooklyn. And that same week, this man is thinking about or being rumored to be a part of buying an NFL team. And I don't think many of us, no matter what you do, whether it be rap or anything else from a business standpoint, not many of us are going to be, in a room talking about buying an NFL team in our lives. And where we are now, probably not many of us are still involved in a dice game. There's got to be something in between. But to see in the same genre of music, those extremes, it makes you say, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that Jay-Z is a part of this new ownership group, potential ownership group, with Matthew McConaughey and with Jeff Bezos. I hope it goes forward. But in this same week, I hope that we have a real conversation amongst ourselves and say enough is enough. Like, 28 is too young. Sorry. So much life ahead of you. I'll give you last word on it, man. Jay-Z's ownership in the same week that we are about to bury today. Takeoff. Think about those extremes. I'll give you last word.
Obviously, the death of Takeoff was tragic. I think people maybe, say what you want about Jay-Z, but Jay-Z still got hip hop in him, but he's not shooting dice at bowling alleys and doing whatever. He's going to the casino if he wants to shoot his dice. And I just think that we need to stop. Keeping it real goes crazy. I'm not saying you can't do it, but you shouldn't be in those situations. You've gotten yourself in a position in life where you've made money, you have means, you know better, you can control your surroundings. I mean, I don't know. There's more to it. I saw some little video of the little argument, and people say set up. I try not to get into the drama of kids, but at the end of the day, you got to get yourself. You got to make moves like Jay-Z and a lot of the other guys who've made it in the rap world. Where sorry guys, my nose is messed up. But people who've moved on from the streets and are trying to get more into business acumen. You've made it. You're successful. Let's just kind of move past that where you're not getting shot in a bowling alley in the head. So
yeah,
it sucks, but
it doesn't seem right. And yeah, the conspiracy theorists out there, and Jay Prince's son and all of that. It's just like at some point, man, the Migos have sold so many records. They don't use that phrase anymore. Their music is done well. They've been awarded any award that you could possibly be awarded. They made more money than they probably could have ever envisioned when they started the music business. At some point, man, keeping it real does go wrong. So we did a moment of silence for him. We celebrated his life. Thank you. And Tanya says, Takeoff and Dolph, right? Young Dolph. You think of these young men. It's tragic. It's senseless. It's sad. So on the same day that Veterans Day, right? The anniversary of the end of World War I, where we celebrate veterans, call a veteran or anyone who has served, call them today. And then we also honor those who lost their lives in any war on the same day. We're losing the war within our own communities. So Jay-Z being a part of this ownership talk, hopefully eventually being a part of the ownership team, is a refreshing news in this week. That's refreshing news to me, man. So shout out to Jay-Z. We talked about the coaches, but I also want to talk about the manager before we leave, because shout out to Dusty Baker at the right age of 153 years old. They won a World Series with the Houston Astros, and he don't turn 154 till next year. So he's got time to celebrate this, but no, shout out to Dusty Baker. But it's worth mentioning that something in these particular games, in this World Series, also makes you say, wow. there was a total of, because we got, hold on, make sure we do the math. Let me carry the one. Let me make sure that I do all of the orders of operation, and I come out with a total of 0 Black American-born players played in the World Series. And then you look at the ratings of this World Series. It was more than 0, but it was only about 28 people that watched it. And it was some good baseball. The Phillies and the Astros played some good baseball, went to Game 6. There were some riveting, exciting games that nobody saw. You combine those two things, and I asked, after acknowledging both and saying, wow, where is the state of baseball? I begged my son to play. It just seems as though nobody even wants to really play the sport anymore.
You know,
I'm exaggerating. It's hyperbole. But the fact that the ratings tanked, nobody wanted to see it. And that there were 2 teams, the 2 best teams of baseball that made it to the World Series, were arguably the 2 best teams of baseball. The 2 teams that made it to the World Series, that's not arguable. That's fact. Neither had a Black American-born player on their team. Where are we at with baseball? And I ask, in my do the right thing voice, Sal, why ain't no brothers on the wall, Sal? Ain't no brothers on the wall. Neither roster.
I think now that we're getting into year-round sports, football, you're doing 7-on-7. I think basketball's been year-round for quite some time, way more than our era growing up, where people played all the sports. I think people played all the sports, and baseball was kind of this last sport. And then people were able to keep progressing through high school and playing the sport and saying, all right, man, I'm still good at baseball. All right, I'm going to focus on baseball because that's where I can make it. Right. I think nowadays, my son played baseball when he was, I think, first, second grade, probably about 3 or 4 seasons of baseball.
Yep.
But then basketball got to the point where you couldn't do both. And we just like basketball more. And I think that's the situation where they didn't have that kind of you have football season, basketball season, and baseball season. Those are the seasons, right? Right. And if you didn't do baseball, you did track or whatever it was. But my son would have kept playing baseball if basketball didn't take it over. I argue that my son probably could have been a better baseball player than a lot of stuff. He could throw the ball. He had great
I argue that he could have been a great receiver at Notre Dame. So I get it. Yeah, I argue.
So at the end of the day, he had an opportunity to play baseball more, but it just was not as interesting as the other sports were at that age. And baseball is it's like the most of all the sports, the most heavily skill requirement of sports and the least athleticism, I would say. You know what I mean? Not that you don't have to be an athlete, but you got to spend hours getting those skills right to play at baseball.
Being an athlete helps, right? Athleticism in baseball doesn't really get highlighted because people have done it with less athleticism. However, if you are a phenomenal athlete, it tends to make you a better baseball player. Just like golf, athleticism wasn't considered in golf till Tiger Woods came along. Right. But you look at a Stanton at 6'7", 250 whatever pounds he is, of machine as an athlete, and obviously it helps as well. But it's something about watching the game that isn't resonating with America. It's something about playing the game that isn't resonating with at least Black America. And I just don't know what it is. I think it's a beautiful game in terms of the cerebral aspects of it, knowing where to go with the ball before it even is played, knowing where to line up, how to adjust, knowing which pitcher to roll out there against which batters, knowing how to pitch, certain pitches based on where we are in the pitch count, based on what the score is. All of these things, it's a very cerebral game. It's the chess of all major sports. It's the one that I think is most chess-like. Yet, something is not connecting.
We just would
and I just don't understand why. Why ain't no brothers on the wall?
I think we made a choice. We don't want to do it no more. It's not. We like the more athletic sports of basketball. We like the more athletic sports of football, 7-on-7. And baseball was all that there was when we were growing up at that time. And now there's other things, so we choose other things. I know I didn't cry when my son gave baseball up. And I thought he was pretty good. It was just so boring to sit out there and watch your son hit the ball 4 times or 3 times at 3 at-bats in the whole day, maybe. 2 or 3 balls come his way in the infield.
Yeah.
That got old. And
All
daddy
right.
ball is the worst in baseball. Every coach's son is a pitcher.
I'll leave with this one that it also made me say wow is our U.S. women's national team, who we have gone to bat for, who we have gone to war for. We have spoken up for what I think their absolute right to get paid more because of their performances. And now they done lost 3 in a row. They just lost another friendly.
They like Texas A&M.
You know what?
They like Texas A&M. We gave them all that money. I hate when people say that. We gave them all that money.
Not a penny.
Like you got a damn penny came out your pocket. We gave them all that money, and now they can't win no games. They were better when they was hungry. Just like A&M got all that money, and now they can't beat nobody.
They can't beat nobody.
That's a true hater for y'all to see.
Man. You get last word.
Get paid.
Anything you want to get off your chest before we get out of here? This episode, just say wow. We went through sports, business, entertainment. We do it the way the Ball Hawk Sports Talk crew does it. Rough, rugged, and raw. Anything you want to get off your chest. Anything else that made you say wow before we get out of here. Anything that you want to leave with them that'll make them say wow before we get out of here. You know how we do it. It's the Big Flow Show coming from the Chi-Town, the Windy City. Anything you want to blow them away with before you get out of here. And oh, by the way, the Bears actually looked okay last week.
Man, shout out to my man Fields for breaking the rushing record at a quarterback. I wish that he would have went ahead and broke the whole damn rushing record, 178 yards. Most running backs don't get that many yards.
And I think the previous one was 176 or something like that, Michael Vick. So barely beat it, but he beat it.
So, hey, Bears at 6.
Bears at 6. Look, everybody.
Or should I say Bears win 6? We win 6 games.
Well, you're going to win 6. Maybe.
My bad.
Maybe.
Shout out to
look, on this episode of Just Say Wow, this episode of Ball Hawk Sports Talk, man, we started off by celebrating Veterans Day. On today, 11/11, you know how I like to send out my tweets, numbers game. And I like to do it on days like this at 11/11. If I can remember on 11/11, I'll probably send something out and say numbers game. But the numbers game that I want to discuss here is the number of tragedies that we are dealing with in our communities. I really take pause and say we got to do better, man, because life. All of these ones today, 11/11, you only get one life. So cherish it, celebrate it. The people around you, they only get to really enjoy your life, the one that you live in while you're living it. So we got to do better in our communities, man. I really, 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 really hate the fact that 28 years old, they're going to bury Takeoff today. The other thing in terms of numbers game is I got to be honest, when it comes to volunteering or even signing up to go to war, if the fight is left, I'm going right. Make sure that y'all call a veteran, man, that served this country, and make sure that you know that they are appreciated because they made the ultimate sacrifice, was willing to make the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of all of us. There were other things that made me say, wow, like Herschel Walker. Herschel Walker is in now a runoff in Georgia. We had the midterm elections, and Donald Trump thought he was out to a good lead. It's going to be a bloodbath. It didn't happen. There was no red wave. But the one that made me say, wow, the race that made me say, wow, is that Herschel Walker is within 0.3, 0.4 of the vote in Georgia versus Reverend Warnock. If you compare those two men, if you hear them speak, in America, you just got to say, wow. We choose politics over common sense. I love Herschel Walker as a running back in Georgia. I love Herschel Walker as a running back with the Vikings and with the Cowboys. But Herschel Walker being a senator is just as logical as Jeff Saturday being a coach. It just makes you say, wow. So on this day, Veterans Day that we're celebrating, we leave you with all of these thoughts and challenge you to be a part of the change that we seek in America. I am your boy, B Brown, ESQ, aka the Ball, aka the Mountain South, aka Mr. Excessive Celebration, aka Breezy, aka Breezy. I repeat it. It's been a while since I went by Breezy. My man, the Big Flow Show, was in the building today. We had ETP in the building earlier today. He had to take off. It has been a phenomenal show. We ask you humbly, like we do every week, please like, please comment, please share, please tag a friend, please tag a foe, please tag anybody that you know, and please subscribe to both the YouTube channel and the podcast. Doesn't cost you anything, but you be doing a wonderful, wonderful job helping support us. So we hope that you would do that. Without any further ado, enjoy your weekend. The Ball Hawk Sports Talk will see you next Friday because we is out. Peace.